Hi guys, happy Thursday. Coach Abby back with another trainer tip, and today we are talking about the immune system. Why? Because I just got over COVID and it's Thursday. So I want to start out by saying that we do a pretty good job of taking care of our bodies with prehab and mobility while we're in the gym, even sometimes outside of the gyms, taking some walks, doing some yoga, getting our body moving with maybe some stretching. But it's important that we also focus on this when it comes to preventing illnesses. So we have to make sure that we are taking steps ahead of time to make sure we're preparing our body when we do get presented with things such as COVID. So where do we start? First off, we're going to start with sleep. It's recommended that we get 7 to 9 hours of sleep regularly. And note that regularly is a very important aspect of that. Consistent sleep is crucial to your success as a fit body member, but also as a mom, dad, student, teacher, etc. As we sleep, our body is able to recover from day-to-day stressors. This is also the time that we're repairing tissues, for instance, those muscles that you work at boot camp. And also when we can recover from day-to-day stress. If you're not able to reset your body, it's less likely to be able to combat any health stressors like COVID or the flu. So here are a couple tips to help you with sleep. First, set an alarm. And I'm not talking about in the morning. I'm talking about an alarm that tells you when it's time to go to bed, or better yet, to start your routine. This brings me to tip number 2. Have a routine. If you're anything like me, you crave a routine that feels good, it fits in your schedule, and it helps you accomplish your goals. Try setting an alarm 30 minutes before your desired bedtime, and find yourself a routine that helps you calm your brain and your body. My routine consists of my nightly hygiene, preparing my meals for the next day, and making sure that I'm ready to go by laying my clothes out. Possibly read a book, but sometimes I'm too tired. While that sounds incredibly cliche, these are all things that I can control, and they help me wind down for bed, which brings me to my next tip. Skip the scroll. A lot of us spend hours on our phone throughout the day, and it's quite easy to get wrapped up in social media, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. All right, and 5 minutes can quickly turn into 30 minutes, and by that time, you're already losing valuable sleep. So when that alarm goes off and it's time to start your routine, plug in your phone, have your alarm set, and get ready for the next day. If you are someone that finds yourself on your phone, invest in some blue light blockers so that your eyes are not strained and wired as if they're supposed to be awake for the next couple of hours. We have to train our eyes and our brain that, hey, it's time to go to sleep, I'm winding down, and you're preparing for that. So moral of the story here is that we really need to make sleep a priority. Next up, we're going to talk about hydration. Approximately 60% of your body weight comes from water. And water can come from the foods that you eat, the things that you drink, but it is vital to our survival as humans. At a minimum, we need 1.5 liters or 50 ounces of water a day. And this is recommended for non-active individuals, which means you guys as boot campers need a lot more than that. I personally try to get 1 gallon, if not a little bit more, and this is where I feel most rejuvenated, my skin feels hydrated, I feel energized throughout the day, and I also don't have very many dips in terms of my hunger. Scientifically, hydration is important because the body uses water in every single one of our cells, organs, tissues, and for all of our functions, such as the breakdown and the digestion of food. It helps us transport nutrients and waste throughout our body. It helps with our chemical and metabolic reactions. And it also protects our tissues and joints. And lastly, our water is really, really important in regulating our body temperature. So really what you need to learn here is get enough sleep, drink enough water. Next up, and this is something we talked a little bit about in one of our previous trainer tips, nutrition. So nutrition, specifically getting enough calories to fuel your body for day-to-day activities. Most of us, especially boot campers, are trying to burn fat, which we know in order to do, we have to be in a caloric deficit. When looking at the quality of food, we want to choose foods that are high in vitamins and minerals, which we will talk about here shortly. Oftentimes, this helps us fight off infections. Other aspects of nutrition that are important would include our balancing protein, All right, so we want to make sure that we're getting adequate protein in each meal throughout the day. This helps with our recovery, and proteins are really going to be the building block for our body. All right, we also know that from boot camp, the more muscle we have, the more fat we burn, which brings me to my next point. Fat is not a bad thing in the necessary amounts. So fat intake also has to be looked at. We want to make sure we're getting enough of the good fats, because that's what's going to keep our hormones functioning at appropriate levels. From our last nutrition video, we know that nutrition includes our macronutrients, which would be our proteins, fats, and our carbohydrates. But we also briefly mentioned our micronutrients, which would include our vitamins and our minerals. We want to make sure that we're fueling our body for success and sustainability. If you struggle to get these macronutrients or micronutrients, you might look to supplements to help. Just remember, supplements are meant to supplement your diet and fill the gaps. They are not meant to be your diet. There are plenty of supplements out there that are known to help boost your immune system. A couple of those we're going to discuss below. The first vitamin we're going to talk about is vitamin C. Vitamin C is an essential part of our body, and there are millions of health benefits when it comes to vitamin C, ranging from immune system functioning to cardiovascular health. We've also seen evidence in vitamin C contributing to our cortisol regulation, which is a hormone that's associated with our stress levels. The next vitamin that we're going to discuss is vitamin D. Vitamin D has qualities that help support our immune system. They increase our anti-inflammatory response, and they fight microbacteria. In the United States, vitamin D deficiency is extremely common. A deficiency in vitamin D can compromise performance, recovery, and even our hormonal output. Next up, we have zinc. This has a direct correlation with testosterone levels. And yes, ladies, we also have testosterone inside of us, and we do need it to function properly. Gentlemen, testosterone is an important aspect of your physical health, but it also helps when you're talking about sexual health and reproduction as well. Zinc has also been linked with many studies in regards to COVID-19 and weakening symptoms throughout your time if you do develop COVID-19. Lastly, we have glutamine. Glutamine helps promote immune fighters within our body, such as white blood cells, more specifically lymphocytes, neutrophils, and macrophages. All of these are needed to fight off small infections like a sore throat, as well as larger ones like the flu or COVID-19. Last but not least, just a couple reminders in terms of COVID-19. Wash your hands, people. Good hygiene in terms of washing your hands after the bathroom, before you eat, after you eat, making sure that if you have to touch your face, your nose, your eyes, you're washing your hands beforehand. Hand sanitizer, all right? It's available, it's everywhere, it's at all of our doors, making sure that when you walk in, it's available. It's a little more convenient than going to the bathroom every time you need to wash your hands, so this is a good substitute when necessary. Lastly, make sure you're covering your face with a face mask when you can to stop the spread of COVID-19 and other illnesses. And also remember to cough in your elbow, not your hand. If you do cough in your hand, which does happen, go wash your hands. All right, guys, that's it for Trainer Tip Thursday. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week.